The recording has restarted and we're live streaming, Chair.
Okay, thank you. So we're back at the meeting of the Aberdeenshire Licensing Board, and we're now on item 9 of our agenda, which is a section 28 where a licence has ceased to have effect, a hearing for Whisky Quest Limited, 29 Lawsondale Terrace, West Hill. And the officer taking the report is Fiona Stewart. Can we just make sure the applicant is present?
I am present.
Thank you, and welcome to the meeting. Just in line with the guidance you've received in the public participant meeting protocol for licensing board hearings, please can you mute your microphone when not speaking if your phone permits this. Please do not speak unless I invite you to do so, and please do not interrupt the other speakers. You're probably okay to keep your phone unmuted if it takes you a while, as long as you don't interrupt speakers. Once you've been asked to make concluding remarks, you're not entitled to speak again unless to answer a question from a board member. Once the board has made its decision, you will be asked to leave the meeting. If the board requires to adjourn to deliberate the application, the recording of the meeting will be paused and the board will retire to a separate online meeting room. Please wait in the main meeting room until the board members return and I resume the meeting. At that point, the recording of the meeting will be restarted. So can I just confirm as well that Lisa Gadini, the Licensing Standards Officer, is present?
Yes, I'm present, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So for yourself and the applicant, are you satisfied that you've received all the relevant information and feel able to participate in the determination of the application?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll hand over to the Deputy Clerk, Fiona Stewart, please, to outline the terms of the application and confirm the procedure for the hearing today.
Thank you, Chair. This hearing is to consider a report that has been submitted by Lisa, the Licensing Standards Officer, in relation to the premises and whether it has ceased to have effect under Section 28 of the Licensing Scotland Act 2005. Normally, matters like this would not be brought to the board. It would be dealt with by officers under delegated powers in consultation with the chair. However, in this case, because the Licensing Standards Officer had not had any contact in response from the licence holder, I declined to use my delegated powers in this case and have referred the matter to the board. So the sole issue is to determine whether the premises is still open and trading and selling alcohol, or whether it has ceased to be used for the sale of alcohol and therefore the licence has ceased to have effect in terms of Section 28 of the Act. The process here is in reverse because it's in the nature of a complaint or report. So the Licensing Standards Officer will speak first to outline the terms of the report. The licence holder then gets a chance to make his submissions. The Licensing Standards Officer has a right to reply. Then it's open to questions of both parties by board members, concluding remarks in reverse, so the licence holder first, then the Licensing Standards Officer, and move to determine. If you find there's no case to answer, the licence will continue in effect. If you find that there is sufficient evidence that the licence has ceased to have effect, the premises will not be able to sell any alcohol until a further premises licence has been applied for, processed and granted. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. So first of all, then I'll go to the LSO, Lisa Gadini, to speak to her report, please.
Thank you very much. I have brought this to the attention of the Aberdeenshire Licensing Board to determine whether or not the premises licence for Whisky Quest ceases to have effect. The Aberdeenshire Licensing Board policy states at 6.15 that where a premises ceases to be used for the sale of alcohol for a period of more than 4 months, the board will conclude that the licence has ceased to have effect in terms of Section 28 of the Licensing Scotland Act 2005. Premises licence holders have the ability to request extensions to the premises licence. The premises licence was granted on the 20th of December 2023. The premises is a dwelling house within a residential area of West Hill and trades with it with on-sale sales only. On the 27th of October 2025, I did an online search for the business and struggled to find an online presence. I was unable to find any active online sales platform. However, I was able to find information on Companies House, which showed the company status as active, but accounts submitted in both 2024 and 2025 were for a dormant company. The first dormant accounts were submitted on the 1st of October 2024 and were for the period up to 31st of December 2023, and the second dormant accounts submitted were on the 10th of September 2025 and were made up until 31st of December 2024. I attempted to contact the premises licence holder on the 29th of October and again on the 6th of November 2025 to seek confirmation if the business has traded since the licence was granted. I advised that I was unable to find any online presence suggesting the business was operating, and Companies House was showing dormant accounts for the last two submissions. I also took the opportunity to provide details of 6.15 of the policy statement. The premises licence holder responded on the 7th of November 2025, simply stating that they were changing technology platform. I am therefore unsure if the business is trading. However, with dormant accounts being made up to the 31st of December 2024, to me, it would be clear that they have not traded since the licence was granted on the 20th of December 2023 up until the 31st of December 2034. I am not able to determine whether the business has traded at all this year. However, the lack of online presence would suggest not giving that the business only trades in online sales. I am therefore looking to yourselves to consider the information provided and determine whether the premises is used for the sale of alcohol or not, and therefore whether the premises licence ceases to have effect as per Section 28 of the Licensing Scotland Act 2005. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can I now ask the licence holder, please, to respond to the report?
Good
Mr.
afternoon, ma'am.
Barham?
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Would you like to address the board now, Mr. Badham?
Yes, ma'am. If you are okay, can you please hear me? Yeah?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, I took a stroke last September 25th. Since then, I started recovering until May, June this year. So then I ran into some disruption in my business activities, plus I ran into some technological issues. Now, because of I'm fully recovered back, I restarted my postmaster duties in Elgin and Bucky, and my technology also has taken a shape just now. It is right now, it is online, but just need a little bit tweaks around. But given the circumstances, I apologize. Please accept my apology for not being online because of my health reasons. All I need is another 3-4 months time, and then you will see me up and running.
Okay, thank you. Board members, have you any questions for either party? Ms. Black, please.
Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Badham, for being here to speak to us. I wonder if you could, I could ask you why you have not applied for an extension to non-trading hours or time, because within our policy we do have that premises can be not trading for 4 months, but anything further than that would require an extension. Can you let me know why you didn't go through that procedure? Thank you.
Ma'am, I'm really sorry. I was not aware of the clause that is available. Plus, I was traveling back and forth for a rehabilitation center in Kerala until the April this year. So I came back on April 15th back to UK, and since then, because of my stroke, I took a lot of disturbances in my family situation. When the stroke happens, you need to think differently how you want to take your life further. I am 54 now. I don't want to take a lot of stress. Plus, probably I must have been ignored for my health reason, whatever I was doing. So technically, I was more kind of I myself, like I went into a situation where my mind went to blank, and I did not think any of these consequences at that time. So until Harriet Lisa sent an email about this hearing. I was not aware of this situation at all, that I had to apply for an extension of non-trading situation.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I have gone straight to questions. I should first of all have gone back to the Licensing Standards Officer, Lisa, to see if you, do you have anything to add, having had the licence holder?
No, not really, other than I've obviously been unaware of the circumstances, and therefore, I felt I had no option but to bring this to attention, because I was finding it very difficult to get any sort of communication from the licence holder with regards to what the business was up to. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So back to board members then for questions. Mr. Menard, please.
Yeah, the gentleman states that he was out of the country after having a stroke. Is that correct, or did I mishear that?
Yes, you are correct, sir. I was traveling to a rehabilitation center in Kerala, southern part of India.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions? Something I didn't quite pick up when you were speaking, Mr. Badham. You spoke about restarting something in Elgin and Buckie. What did you say that was?
I am a postmaster for the last 18 years. The online whiskey platform is my passion. I started working on this whiskey for the last before I took a stroke. Before almost 3 years. Then I had an idea to develop myself for a home business. So that's how I ended up applying for an alcohol license for my trading from my home. But my main profession is being a postmaster in Elgin and Buckie. I run 2 main post offices. So, that post office activity is an ongoing situation at the moment. So I took almost 4 months break from my post office activities due to my health reasons as well. So I restarted around April, May sometime this year. And so right now I'm also in the post office while I'm talking to you guys. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so you restarted, you were back in your main business at the post offices in April, May time this year.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Taylor, please.
Yes, thank you. Morning, Mr. Baden. I hope that you're feeling a lot better, but obviously back at work. My question is, in your period of incapacity, is Whiskey Quest, are you the sole director, or are there other?
I am the sole director, sir. Yes.
So in the period when you were incapacitated, the business, were there others able to continue the business, or did you employ anybody to operate the business?
No, sir. No business activity has taken place because of my absence. Plus, I did not had a capacity to employ anyone to carry on the business activity. I just want to take myself enough time to get back on. Plus, I want to run this business on my own. And this is my purely personal passion, sir, personal interest in a passion. Plus, I do not have a financial capacity to hire someone to carry on this business activity during my absence as well.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mason, please.
Yeah, Mr. Badham, you seem to be taking on quite a lot after having a stroke. It's quite a lot of things to do. You say you'll be back doing the alcohol back in about 3 or 4 months' time. Is that correct?
I meant to say I need at least 3 to 4 months' time before my technology platform is off-shaped at the moment because of my financial glitches. It's not going as fast as expected. But I'm working. I'm a developer myself. I'm a software developer myself as well. Everything I'm doing on my own, from the back end to the front end, including the business side as well as the technology side. It's purely done by myself. That's the reason why it is taking a little bit longer to take its shape.
Yeah. Well, I hope you're feeling a bit better now anyway, but we'll see. Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Black, please.
Yes, thank you, convener, for taking me in for another question. Can I just ask, obviously you've already outlined, Mr. Badham, about not having been running the business necessarily because of your stroke and your taking time off to recover. But can you let us know when you did last sell alcohol from the premises, please?
No, ma'am, because when I took the license, it took almost 6 to 7 months to get my platform up and running. And then one of my developer from India has given a big blow that he also gone out of the business, and I could not renew my services with that provider. Then on my own, I started coding myself to start the business instead of depending on this side. So I've not sold a single transaction, but I've invested £30,000 of my stock, which is already, I mean to say, that was stock which was carried on for the last 5 to 6 years as a personal whiskey collector. I would like to start with my own stock, and that's the reason why I've categorically I've not sold a single item in the whiskey quest.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So just to be clear on that, you haven't, this business, Whiskey Quest, you haven't actually started trading yet?
No, ma'am. No, definitely not.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions from members? No. I just wonder, you were back working in your post offices in April, May. Would the licensing standards officer reply? Could you have attended to that in that time? That would have been a live question.
Yes, ma'am. Probably I must have overlooked. I'm really apologies for not being in touch with the licensing board.
Okay, thank you. So if there are no more questions, we'll go to closing remarks. So yourself first, Mr. Badham. Do you wish to say anything in closing, but don't add anything new at this stage?
As Lisa has guided me that there is a provision to extend non-trading options. So I would, if Lisa could forward me the required forms, I will fill it and then send it across to Lisa to make sure that I am fully compliant with my situation.
Okay, thank you. And Lisa, LSO, do you wish to say anything in closing?
No, I don't think so. I think I've said everything that needs to be said, and obviously yourselves will take into consideration both myself and the licence holder's circumstances when making a decision. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do board members require any legal advice from the clerk? Ms. Black, please.
Yeah, thanks very much for bringing me in, convener. As Mr. Badham has stated that he's never actually sold any alcohol from the premises at all since his licence was granted, which I think, if I'm right, was December 2023. That means that he has essentially, for 2 years, had a licence that he has not utilised, and our policy is that after 4 months of non-trading, he should be asking for a extension. So can the Deputy Clerk clarify the legal position that we're in, considering the facts of the case, please?
Okay. The policy that we have is to provide further clarity on the provisions of Section 28 of the Act. And Section 28 of the Act, if you look at page 278 of your papers, sets out the legal test, which sets out provisions of Section 28. And Section 28 stipulates at 1B that a premises licence ceases to have effect on the occurrence of any of the events mentioned in subsection 5. And if you go to subsection 5, Section B stipulates that the licensed premises in respect of which the licence was issued cease to be used for the sale of alcohol. Now, because that is open-ended, the board sought to provide clarity by saying that where a premises, and it was previously 3 months, you extended it to 4 months in your current policy, was closed or not operating for a period of 4 months or more, then the board would consider the premises licence had ceased to have effect on this basis. It ceased to be used for the sale of alcohol under Section 28, but also made provision for licence holders to write in to request extensions to closure on good cause shown. And those are dealt with by the convener in the first instance. And the board has granted frequent extensions to closure in various circumstances, including illness and potential sale of the premises or premises being redeveloped. And that has not happened in this case. So your baseline here is that you have evidence before you that the premises has never been used for the sale of alcohol since it was granted. Therefore, you have to determine whether the licence has ceased to have effect under Section 28(5)(b) because it ceased to be used for the sale of alcohol, or whether the applicant has satisfied you that there are good reasons why he has failed to comply with policy and what action you wish him to take moving forward.
Okay, thank you for that advice, Fiona. Ms Sullivan, please.
I think that answered my question. I was going to ask, can we retrospectively approve? No, but okay, thank you.
No retrospective requests.
Mr Taylor, please.
Yes, thank you, convener. Considering the situation, my query is if the premises licence is withdrawn, is the applicant, Mr Baden, able to resurrect the business at a later date?
Absolutely. It doesn't prevent any future application for a premises licence being lodged, and there's no time limit. For example, in some civic licences, you've got to wait 12 months. There's no bar he could apply immediately, but it may be advisable for Mr Badham to get the business set up properly so that he's good to go when he does apply for the premises licence, if the board determines that this licence has ceased to have effect.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
So if there are no further requests for legal advice, could the Deputy Clerk please outline the terms of the legal test? We've actually just been looking at that, but do you want to just go over that? Yeah.
Just to remind that the board that the terms of the legal test are set out in Section 28 of the Act, which forms part of your papers, that a premises licence ceases to have effect on the occurrence of any of the events mentioned in subsection 5, and the subsection we're looking at is 5B, that the licensed premises in respect of which the licence was issued cease to be used for the sale of alcohol, and that is subject to the board's policy, which stipulates that where premises has been closed for a period of more than 4 months, the board may consider a request for extension to closure given circumstances that merit it. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Do members wish to retire to deliberate? No. Okay, so we can proceed then. So I'll open the matter to members for debate. Ms Black, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, convener. Well, it's fairly cut and dried for me, even though I have huge sympathy with Mr. Badham in the situation he has found himself in. If I took my notes correctly, the license was granted in December 2023, and Mr. Badham took ill in September 2024, which is already beyond the 4 months. So for me, that, although I have huge sympathy for him, that can't really be taken into account as a material consideration, because according to the Act and our policy has already been outlined, he had already gone beyond that 4 months and not asked for an extension. So for me, even before September 2024, that licence had ceased to take effect. For me, it's the responsibility of all licence holders to know and understand the terms of having that licence. So it's just really unfortunate that Mr. Badham was not across that, so didn't realise that if that was an option open to him. So he hasn't, fulfilled our policy and hasn't complied with Section 28. So for me, it would need to be that we make the decision that this licence had already ceased to take effect, because he hasn't been trading, and he hasn't, and he has admitted that he hasn't sold any alcohol.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Bernard, please.
I can honestly say that Dawn has taken the words out of my mouth. Exactly the same sentiment. I agree with her 100% with what she's just said. Thank you.
Okay. Miss Sullivan, please.
Yeah, same as Dawn. I'd also add that while I'd consider giving like an extra 6 months to get up and running with this business, I think that would put stress on somebody who's already been ill. So even if I was minded to be accommodating, I don't think that would be best anyway. But yeah, the license has ceased to have effect. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. So members, can you just confirm you've received sufficient evidence from which to make a decision?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Do I need to call for a motion? I think in this case I will. Mr. Menard, please.
Yeah, I'll put forward a motion that the premise licence has ceased to have effect, in line with the LSO's complaint, and therefore we should revoke the licence. Thank you.
Okay.
Can I just clarify?
Yeah,
we're not revoking the license. The license has ceased to have effect.
Apologies.
Do you want to refer to Section 28?
Yes, for want of a better way, in line with
5B?
policy. Yeah, in line with policy 28 5B. Like I say, the licence has ceased to have effect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Are you willing to second, Ms. Black?
Yeah, happy to second.
Okay. Is that a unanimous view from members? Oh, Mr. Mason?
Yeah, well, just to confirm that he can reapply.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, just to confirm that. Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Is that a unanimous decision on behalf of members?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you. So in that case, Fiona, can you just confirm the board's decision, please?
So, Mr. Badham, the board's decision today is that your licence has ceased to have effect in terms of Section 28(5)(b) on the basis that it has ceased to be used for the sale of alcohol. You'll receive written notification within the next 7 days, and you need to take independent legal advice as to your next steps. The LSO is also available to offer practical advice and assistance. In line with our normal practice, given that you've just paid your annual fee fee for the year ahead, we will refund that annual fee to you. So we will be in touch to make arrangements for that payment to be refunded to you. Thank you for attending the board today.
Thank you,
Okay.
ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Badham. You can leave the meeting now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. All right, members. We'll look now at their papers for the sort of second section of the meeting. Item 10A, it's the fees review, and the officer taking the report is Martin Ingram.
Thank you, convener, and thank you, board members. Yes, this is a report, as you've outlined, on the fees review. This is something that has been undertaken. A previous report came to the licensing board in October, effectively asking for approval to go out to formal consultation on proposed changes to certain licensing board fees. That consultation has now taken place. It took place between the 3rd and the 30th of November, and following that, a good bit of work was done by the licensing team in looking at those consultation responses. There were 40 responses to the consultation in total, the vast majority of which came from people within the licensed trade. We've taken those consultation responses on board. You will see that a full report with the consultation responses and comments that came with that is available to members as Appendix 2 within this report. But we've also attempted in Section 3 of this report to address the kind of general themes that have come from that. So from paragraph 3.6, we have provided some narrative within the report in terms of the responses that we received to that consultation. And in particular, at paragraph 3.9, we've highlighted some of the explanation behind the reasons why we've been proposing an increase in fees for those discretionary fees that we are entitled to make changes to. And again, to cover off, we're talking about transfers on applications for license holders, major variations, and temporary and replacement personal licenses. There will be no changes to any of the fixed fees which are in place for the likes of premises licenses and other liquor licensing. So we're talking about a very specific set of discretionary fees in that regard. So all I'd probably say is that the report and information is there before you. I am more than happy to answer any questions that board members may have in that regard, but in summary, we will be looking today for approval from the licensing board to increase the fees as per the proposed fees which are contained within Appendix 1 to this report. And again, they are the same proposed fees as the ones that we went out to consultation on. And again, we would be looking for those to be implemented from the 1st of April 2026, and thereafter for there to be inflationary increases put into place as determined by the head of finance from the 1st of April 2027 onwards. Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the board? Mr. Mason, please.
Yeah, can I, when does the fixed fees come to the board, or is that not decided by the board at all?
The other fees do not get decided by the board, so they are statutory fees which are set for us, and we therefore have no discretion in order to change those fees. So
that's set by the Scottish Government, is it?
It's regulation, statutory instrument, Mr. Mason. It's the Fee Scotland regulations of 2007. So it's the Scottish Parliament that would need to review and update those fees.
Yeah.
Thanks, Fiona.
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
Any more questions for Mr. Ingram? Mr. Taylor, please.
Thank you. Not so much a question, probably a comment, and maybe for Mr. Ingram to confirm. I note in the I mean, I appreciate there's a substantial percentage increase, but in the report, costs have been curtailed significantly, particularly in printing, travel, and part of the majority of the increase will be the complicated nature of some of the applications, and the need for full cost recovery. Thank you.
Yep, through you, convener. Yes, that would be a fair appraisal in relation to that. So again, to outline, all we are looking to do is looking to take full cost recovery of those particular licenses that we're dealing with. And I think it is fair to say that in recent years, we have been finding that these types of applications, transfers, variations and the likes of that does take quite a considerable amount of effort in relation to the team. We have a number of professional people involved in relation to that. So obviously our team includes administrators, paralegals, solicitors, who require to take that information that has been submitted with the licensing application. And again, by very nature of that, it's, you know, proposed changes to something which may well already be in place. What we've also found is, again, in certain situations where those parties making the application may not have the assistance of a solicitor or agent in order to be able to put those applications together, that can also have an additional burden in ourselves, because we are obviously looking to do a role in assisting and supporting applicants get their applications to a state where they can be considered, ideally in a situation, if they're not contentious, that they can just be dealt with administratively. But if it is something which is contentious, or indeed late as well, where there might be complexities involved in relation to that, then that requires a good bit of work in that regard as well. But if I could also say, given that you've flagged that up, Mr. Taylor, I would also want to give reassurances that, again, in terms of full cost recovery, we do try our best to be as efficient as possible in relation to the processing of things. As you've highlighted, Mr. Taylor, the element of print cost to the licensing board is fairly minimal now. The vast majority of what we deal with is dealt with through electronic communication, and there's probably little to no requirement to have actual printed documentation unless there's a particular reason where that might be required by a client. We are currently in the process of undertaking a process mapping review of our premises licenses. So that piece of work is being undertaken right now, which has two pieces of value. First of all, again, looking to work at efficiencies in relation to how we deal with the licensing application processes, but also going forward, that's one of the few outstanding licenses that we don't have available as an online application. And to be clear, I think there's a distinction between something being online insofar as somebody gets a Word document that they populate and then send to us. I wouldn't categorize that as online. What we're trying to get to is a point where they can actually populate something online and then we get that information to us directly. So this is all work that we continue to do in the background. So there's always continuous improvement that we're looking at as a licensing team. And again, we try to make sure that we're operating as efficiently, as effectively as possible. So hopefully that would give members some assurance in that regard as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions or comments? I think, I mean, we do appreciate there are some significant increases here, but I think you fully justify where these figures are coming from. It's just interesting, the agent comment in the feedback section comparing work he's doing in other areas, but obviously other areas are maybe due to review their charges as well and just haven't done so at this point.
Yeah,
which might be that the reason.
In fairness, I wouldn't really want to comment too much on what other local authorities may or may not be doing, but again, that's obviously for them with regards to some. It's always worth bearing in mind that members, by the very nature of so we undertake our reviews on a 3-yearly basis, and by very nature of the fact we will be coming in at a point before any other local authority will be undertaking their review. So I think you'll always be doing a comparison in the least helpful scenario, because we obviously won't know what, if any, increases other local authorities might be looking to implement over the next 3 years themselves. But again, I would just come back to, in relation to what we have control over, the fees that we're looking to propose to do are based on our own in-house assessment of how much it costs our licensing team in order to undertake that, and is no more than what we would be seeking in terms of full cost recovery.
Okay, thank you. So just thank you for the report. It's a full report. There's a lot of information in there. It's very well laid out and easy to follow, which is always a help. So members, if we go to the recommendations, if there are no further questions, so we're recommended to consider and comment on the responses to the consultation contained in Appendix 2. So we have undertaken that. And the second recommendation is to agree to increase the fees as per the proposed fees contained in Appendix 1 in this report, and that would take effect from the 1st of April 2026, with inflationary increases as determined by the Head of Finance thereafter from the 1st of April 2027. Can we agree those recommendations?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Agreed. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Martin.
Thank you, convener. Thank you, members.
So our second report, from this time it's the Licensing Standards Officer report on the payment of annual fees. And I think just before, I think it's Keith. Yes, Keith has given us the report. It's an excellent report, Keith. Well done to all concerned.
Yep, thank you, convener. This is really just a way of information and for noting by the board. Obviously, you'll be aware that every 1st of October, annual fees are due by all premises licence holders, and it's incumbent on the LSOs as part of their duties that if there's non-payment of an annual fee, that under Schedule 3 Para 10, it's a condition of a licence, and therefore we have to take it as being a non-compliance issue in the event that they're not paid. I don't propose to take you through every line by line in this report. It just really is for noting. As you can see within there, round about the end of August, fee letters go out from the admin team to 643 premises. The fees will range from £180 for clubs and private premises, and go right up to £900 for large tail supermarkets. Most fall around about the 220, 280 sort of mark. And there is an assessment that goes out there for about 231,000 in annual fees for premises licences, just again for noting. These fees need to be paid by the 1st of October. 482 out of the 643 paid on time, and this is to be commended. I know there's a legal obligation for them to all pay by the 1st of October, but in previous years we've had to work a lot harder to get people to pay, and 482 in that time frame was quite good, given the pressures that are on the hospitality sector, and this has been a better return rate than what we've had in previous years. So on that basis, although 482 paid on time, that leaves a balance of 161 failing to pay before thereafter. And there's a table there which does show that there was 134 paid 1 month late and 15 2 months late, and that left a balance of 12. The reason for that balance of 12 is, as you can see at 5.4 of the report, these are businesses who have formally surrendered a premises licence. At the time of annual fees, I think sometimes if businesses are not wanting to go forward with their licence, it's probably something that brings it to the forefront of their mind, and these businesses, for various reasons, have surrendered their licence. There's a variety of different reasons there, but they have all now kind of gone. And then at 5.5, these are businesses, I know we've had a Section 28 hearing today, but these are businesses that for various reasons, again, have ceased to have effect, and unlike the one this morning, these have been done by delegated powers, as I understand it, rather than coming to the board. So they are just for noting as well. So whilst it's unfortunate we've lost 12 businesses, it's safe to say that although they have gone, there are provisional licenses that have been either granted and waiting to be confirmed, and there's other premises licenses that are going to be considered in the boards coming up in the next round of board meetings. So I think although these businesses have gone, they will be kind of replaced by others, and it's always been from kind of day one that we've round about that 650 mark of premises that are there. But really, again, just in summary, it's just to let you know that all the licenses that we're expecting to be paid have been paid. We've lost some premises, but we'll gain some in the future. And as I say, it's really just for the board to note that there's a fair bit of work that needs to be done in the background between the admin and LSOs, continually chasing to get these businesses paid and compliant. So on that note, I will leave it there. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Keith. Any questions from the board? Ms. Black, please.
Not so much a question, just a thank you for the hard work that you do on this. It's a shame that you have to go to so much effort to get those fees in, but it's really appreciated what you do. Thank you.
Okay, yes, I think we could all echo that one. And again, a good return this year. Any further questions or comments from members? So the recommendations here, as on page 325, it's just the board is asked to note this report and acknowledge the work that's been carried out by the licensing standards officers and the admin officers to ensure that annual fees are collected timely, or in the case of non-payment, that appropriate steps are taken in relation to the premises licence concerned. So I think that's covered off. We've certainly done that. So thank you, Keith, for your report, and keep up the good work. All right, that takes us on to the final paper of the day, which is 10C, and this is the Chief Constable's annual report to the board. And this year we have Sergeant John Webster with us to take us through the report. But I think everybody's had a chance to read through the report, and they'll probably have some questions for you, John. Do you want to just take us through the report?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, board members. This is my first time appearing with the report. I hadn't actually planned on being at this meeting today. I had other meetings I was going to, so I've been slightly caught on the hop in relation to any preparation for this. It was literally 10 minutes before the meeting started that I was told I was coming in. First of all, I'd like to apologise for the lateness of the report coming to yourselves. It actually came out to our department at a point just before the previous sergeant left, and it was only noted when there was a request came in from yourselves in relation to when the report was coming to yourselves that we'll forward it on. And as soon as I realised it hadn't been done, I obtained a copy and forwarded it on to yourselves. I don't intend on reading through the report. As I say, your chances are you will have questions in relation to it, but I will cover a couple of points through the report. There have been a couple of changes to the report itself since it actually was sent through. There's been a change to our head of department. Superintendent Jason Carrigan is no longer with us. It's now Simon Reid who's taken over within the last couple of weeks as our superintendent, and I have taken over as being sergeant in the last couple of months from Neil Grant, who had been here for several years before that. The report itself's got a foreword from our Chief Constable, Joe Farrell, which outlines some of the work that's been done throughout Police Scotland, our broader view to our 2030 vision of safer communities with less crime and supporting victims and a thriving workforce. The collaboration work that's actually been conducted, not just with the Aberdeenshire, but across all 32 councils throughout Scotland in relation to ensuring that the licensing processes have been fully followed, that we're doing all the checks that we should be doing, and working with partners within licensing and other organisations, health and SIA, to ensure that there is the appropriate work being done by partners and by the licence holders themselves to ensure that there are no other issues that are coming up. The main focus of the upcoming year 24-25 is the scrutiny of the serious incidents of violence, disorder and antisocial behaviour linked to licensed premises, and delivering and prompting campaigns which seek to address issues arising from the consumption of alcohol, particularly in relation to young persons and the context of the nighttime economy, and governance and ongoing development of the national ITC computer systems, which is known as Innkeeper, which has had an update in the last few weeks to increase the efficiency and effectiveness of the liquor and civic licensing administration. We're continuing to work internally and externally in relation to this and make sure that we are always going to be GDPR legislative compliant. In the year we're talking about 24-25, there were a reduction in the number, increase in the number of new and provisional licenses that we're actually dealing with. We're up by 7 applications from the previous year. Of those, we only required 1 representation to yourselves, and variations, there was an increase of 40 with 16 representations, which is an increase of 7 over the same year. The occasional and extended hours licenses, there was a decrease in the number of licenses of 217 applications, but most of these were in fact granted. And in relation to the Section 72 personal license applications, there was an increase of 34 applications, with all of these having been granted, with a total of 293 having been received this year. Monitoring, we continue to carry out monitoring with licensed premises, which includes officers being trained and carrying out checks at licensed premises to make sure they're actually complying with it. And if we actually identify any issues, we can then actually get in contact with the licensed premises ourselves and also request the local divisional teams to conduct checks with it. You'll see from the report that the number of licensing inspections actually dropped during that year. It dropped by 902 to 1,180 inspections conducted. This is in keeping with issues that we actually have identified ourselves in relation to, my apologies. Demands on our workload, number of staff and we actually have available, and other instances that we actually are dealing with, but also being more intel led. So we're actually targeting our responses to where areas that we actually are identifying risks, rather than going to see absolutely everybody. We'll actually identify where we know there are problems, where we've got intel in relation to it, and be more proactive in relation to dealing ones who are relevant for us to actually do visits in relation to. There are also 121 incidents connected with licensed premises in Aberdeenshire, which is a decrease of 33 incidents from the previous year. There could be causal links between the operation of the premises and the incidents that we're actually dealing with from there. What I have done is actually checked today to see where we actually are sitting at in comparison to last year to this year, and the number of inspections, the number of visits that have been conducted. And to date from April, the number of inspections is 896, and the number of incidents recorded is 76, which keeps us more or less on par with the previous year as we stand just now. I've also been conducting training with officers and supervisors to ensure that they are aware of when inspections should be conducted, and also why the purpose of the admission of the inspections. One of the main aspects we're dealing with is the Challenge 25 and try to reduce risk to youths and young people in relation to alcohol and underage drinking, intoxication. That also has been seen to bring in issues with antisocial behaviour by the youths, and we've been targeting a lot of areas in relation to that with a few projects that we've actually been carrying out, and the work we've done with the licensing team, trading standards, and also health. Which brings on to preventing the sale of and supply of alcohol to young children, and prevention of children, of support the protection of children from harm. Sorry, I do apologise. One of the aspects we're actually dealing is in relation to tackling serious and organised crime. We have actually identified that various groups are, serious organised crime groups are actually using alcohol in relation to funding their activities, but also targeting the vulnerable members of the community. As such, we've actually carried out various operations throughout Scotland and in Aberdeenshire in relation to reducing this and identifying what work we can do to prevent people obtaining licences in the first place and put in the appropriate applications to yourselves. In relation to what we're looking for the year ahead, we continue to work with the community policing teams, licensing teams, LSOs, health and trading standards to reduce the number of issues we're actually identifying, reduce the antisocial behaviour we're actually dealing with, and be more intel-led in relation to who we're actually targeting to be more active and proactive in relation to problem areas. I think that actually covers most of the things in the report, and I do apologise. As I say, I did come into this a little bit last minute.
That's absolutely fine. Don't worry. We've gone through quite a lot of the report, so we appreciate you being able to do that at such short notice today. So over to members for any comments or questions. Just before it goes out my head, there was a really good comment there at the bottom of which page was it? I highlighted it, that Aberdeenshire does have a comparatively low number of incidences of, it's on page 7 of your report, 335 of our papers. Aberdeenshire attracts a lower number of reports of underage drinking or youth congregation involving alcohol in comparison to other towns and cities across Scotland. So I thought that was quite positive, but is that because we're a rural authority maybe, or?
Partially, but we do find there's an awful lot of youths who travel into the Aberdeen and meet up with other persons, and the issues are moved to a different location, just down to the number of the fact that there aren't as many opportunities for them to obtain drink elsewhere. We've also done a fair bit of work with shops to make sure they're actually aware of what they should be checking and to prevent people from using others to buy alcohol on their behalf.
Yeah, so we're kind of exporting that issue into the city.
To a certain extent, but a lot of it is down to the work we're actually doing and the community teams that are working with the youth in various areas.
Yeah. Can I just ask one more thing and then I'll go to Mr. Taylor? You did mention there, it came in that second last section to do with organised crime or serious crime, that there could be people, licensees in effect, using the sale of alcohol to fund criminal activities. Could you maybe expand on that a bit, please? Because that would obviously be very relevant for us.
It's one of the things that, I mean, alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, anything that's potentially going to bring in money is something that organised crime groups will actually look to use. It could actually be just using an operation as a front to sell alcohol and then be able to launder money through it. It could be actually the use of people who are alcoholics who are actually have a need that they can actually target those people and use them for the sale of other things on their behalf, and using alcohol as a way to get into there. So it's because of that we actually target OCG groups, try to prevent them from getting a foothold within the local area, and deal with them accordingly when we get hold of them. If we have any intelligence that we can actually use, we can then look to try to prevent licenses from going through. We don't always know the information in advance though, and sometimes it's just come down from information we obtain later on.
Yeah, so that ties in with your approach, to sort of make better use of the staffing you have got to use intelligence-led policing.
Yeah.
Mr. Taylor, please.
Thank you, Convener. I guess my comments now, because you've raised most of them, are really just to emphasise the comments, but I will raise a few others. Interested to note that although there's very few applications actually refused as such, but it is very, very useful to know where they are, to keep a check on them, and therefore that itself is useful. It does, obviously, particularly on the occasionals and temporary licenses, a huge workload. The partnership working is obviously very, very important because it helps keep everybody in the loop, and therefore, I guess, a ripple effect. And lastly, interesting to hear that a lot of the work is related is also covered within the board policies. And I'll just finish on the fact that you were updating innkeeper. And my final comment would be, let's hope in this case there's still plenty of room at the end. Thank you very much indeed for your report.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from members? Not seeing any. So in that case, I would say that, I mean, there's no recommendations written here, but we have considered and commented on the report, and we welcome the report and the information contained therein. It's always interesting to see the figures and find out the approach. And I think in Aberdeenshire, the licence trade and ourselves work quite closely with the police. And I think you're quite a welcome visitor to our licensed establishments rather than being seen as in any way a threat. I think you seem to work very well with the premises.
Yeah, we try to. We've got a good relationship with the local LSOs that doing joint visits is sometimes the best way forward.
Indeed, yeah. Okay, so thank you, John, for presenting that report for us. That takes us to item 11, which is setting the date of the next meeting. So that's the next board meeting in February 2026. I don't have a note of the date on hand. Does somebody have a note of the date? Is it something like the 17th?
'17th is a Tuesday.
Must be the 18th then. Is that right?
It's the 25th of February.
It's the 25th, so I was a week off. Right. So right to the end of February for the next meeting.
My apologies. I put the month and the year, but not the date in your notes.
two out of 3 is okay. All right, so now we can ask for the recording to be stopped because the meeting is now concluded. Thank you for your interest in the business.